If you believe that you should be homeschooling your children, then you need to ask yourself a basic question. Do you believe that because you're afraid of something, or do you believe that because you're called to it? Our Lord has said to us very clearly, if you're weary and you're heavy laden, come unto me, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. And then he says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. But what we do is we take on all these weights, and more than anything, we take on weights of anxiety.
I thought, this is so hard. This homeschooling thing, I'm so worried I'm gonna ruin something. I'm worried I'm not giving my kids every opportunity they could have, that if they're just relying on me for most of their education, there's got to be something wrong with this situation. I don't feel like I'm enough. And it was in the process of reading about rest and what it actually means to shed the anxiety and take on this work of homeschooling and raising my kids without all this angst and worry that really drove me just to find out as much as I could about it. On the one side of rest, we have anxiety, which is when we're worried we're not doing enough. We have to be doing more, school should be hard, I'm not sure if we're doing enough academics or if my kids are gonna get into college, all of the stresses that we all have. And then on the other end is negligence, which is just as easy to slide into. And that's sort of like this idea of, I can't be everything for my kids, so I worry. Or my kids will just kind of get everything they need as long as we're all together. And I think the homeschoolers I talk to most often, they usually kind of slide toward both ends. But teaching from rest is really taking on the peace that God has promised us in that space that God has created for our family.
Scholae roughly meant leisurely learning or undistracted time to study the things that are most worthwhile. So what we're looking for is a harmony of restful learning and active learning kind of coming together. Ironically, the word scholae is the root word for our English word school. But there's not a lot of scholae in our schools. Modern education is filled with anxiety, frenzy, and worry. We're concerned, we're very competitive, and we're governed by the dollar. When we say, I want my child to get a good education, to get a good job, where usually that means good money. And we're not thinking about what the good life is. Well, scholae is necessary to learn what it means to enter into a life that's charged with goodness and virtue and wisdom and eloquence and truth and beauty.